Hello students, myself Dr. Priya Deepa Lakshmi, Associate Professor from Department of Public Health Dentistry, Vinay Mission Sakaracharya Dental College. Today my lecture topic is on health education and health promotion. Before going into this topic, I'll just detail about today's lesson plan. This topic is duration for 1 hour. The target group will be both final year and third year. The instructional media, what I have been used in the lesson plan is the chalk and board and the PowerPoint. Learning objective of this today's topic is, at the end of the learning session, the students shall be able to know the models and methods of health education, approaches to adopt new ideas and practices to achieve health. So the topic is about health education and health promotion. Under health education, we are going to see introduction, definition, objectives, approaches to achieve health, models of health education, principles of health education, content of health education, components of communication process, types of communication, barriers in communication, aids used in health education, and methods of health education. When it comes to health promotion, I am going to define what is health promotion, and I am going to stress on Ottawa Charter, which is an agreement signed by various countries organized by WHO, and finally to conclude the upstream and downstream. The introduction, the word education is derived from the Latin word. It means educare, that means to bring out and to lead. Education is the active learning of process which aims at favorably changing attitudes and influence the behavior with respect to health practices. Therefore, health education acts as the vital process to the practice of prevention. This also acts as a channel for reaching the people and alerting them to health services and resources. Definition: health education is the process that informs, motivates, and helps people to adopt and maintain healthy practices and lifestyle. It also advocates environmental changes as needed to facilitate this goal and conducts professional training and research to the same end. This definition was given by the preventive medicine in the national conference which was conducted in USA. The objectives of health education is based upon the KAP model, that is knowledge, attitude and practice model. The first objective is the cognitive objective, that means informing people. People are informed about the different diseases, their etiology and how to prevent them. That in turn increases the knowledge which create awareness in preventing diseases and promoting health. The second objective is the affective objective, that means motivating people. It is mainly concerned with the changing attitude, beliefs, values or opinions. The mere presence of information does not improve health. So the third objective will be the guiding into action, that means which is a behavioral objective. This is mainly concerned with the development of skills and action. Based upon these three objectives, the final goal will be to make realistic improvement in the communities or people's public health that will change the basic quality of life. Next, moving on to approaches to achieve health, there are 4 approaches: regulatory or legal approach. That means it makes use of law to protect the health of the public. Government makes laws and regulation to safeguard the health of its public. Example is the Pollution Act, Food Adulteration Act or Epidemic Disease Act. This all comes under regulatory approach. The drawback, it is applicable only at certain times or limited situations. This does not alter the behavior of the individual and this will interfere with individual's personal practices. So based upon these drawback, the next approaches which has been evolved is your service or administrative approach. This aimed at providing all the health facilities to people that they will use it. It has been proved failure because it was not based on the felt need of the people. The third approach is the health educational approach, which is the most effective means for achievement of changes in the health practices and lifestyles of the community. The 3 components that include in the health educational approach is your motivation, communication and decision making. Same like KAP model. The result may be slow, but they are permanent. The final approach is the primary healthcare approach. It involves full participation and active involvement of the people starting from planning stage till the delivery of health services. It involves the principles of primary healthcare, that is a community participation. It is achieved by providing guidance to help people identify their health problems and find solution to these problems. People's health are in people's hand. Moving on to models on health education, there are three models. The first one is the medical model. In past, health education have relied on knowledge transfer to achieve behavioral change. It mainly concerned with the diagnosis, treatment and technological advances. This health information was provided to people hoping that they will use this information to improve their health. But this model did not give no importance to the social, cultural and psychological factors, that it did not bridge the gap between the knowledge and the behavior. So based upon this gap or drawbacks, the next model has been evolved, that is the motivational model. Just providing information alone is not sufficient. The individual must be motivated. That means health information must be transferred into action. Adoption of new behavior is not a simple act or a process. It includes several stages. The stages in the adoption of new ideas and practices include, the first stage is the stage of unawareness. Moving to next level is the stage of awareness. From the stage of awareness to stage of interest. From the interest, next the stages will be evaluated. Next it will be into action, the stages of trial. Finally the stages of adoption. These are the 6 stages, which are the various steps in the stages in the adoption of new ideas and practices. Last model is the social interventional model. Only knowledge is not sufficient to change the behavior of the individual or the community. So the other factors, environmental factors also need to be changed. For an example, when helping a person quit the habit of smoking, in addition to motivating him, there is also a need to change his behavior, his social environment, like his friends or peer groups. Moving on to the main content of the health education, the principles. There are 12 principles of health education. So starting from credibility, interest, participation, motivation, comprehension, reinforcement, learning by doing, known to unknown, setting an example, good human relation, feedback. Last one is the community leaders. The first principle is the credibility. As the name indicates, the synonym for credibility is nothing but the trust or trustworthy. Degree to which the message to be communicated is perceived as trustworthy by the receiver based on the facts and the scientific knowledge. It should consider, when you are delivering any messages to the public, it should consider their local culture, education system and social goals. Unless people don't have a trust and confidence in the communicator, no desired effect will be ensured. Next principle is the interest. If the topic is of interest to the people, they will listen to it. The health educator should identify the felt need of the people and then prepare a program that they can actively participate in to make it successful. The third principle, participation. The health education should aim at encouraging people to work actively in identifying their own problems and also in developing solution and plans. Example, methods like group discussion and panel discussions are best example for the group participation. The next principle is the motivation. Motivation, it has been defined as the fundamental desire for learning in an individual. We can classify motives into primary motive, secondary motive. Primary motive is nothing but the inborn desire that drives the individual into action. Example, food, clothing and housing. Whereas the secondary motives, it is nothing but the outside forces. Example, gifts, rewards and love. For example, the teenagers, when we are trying to motivate the teenagers, aesthetic might be a motive to take care of his or her teeth. Whereas for an adult, expenses of undergoing restorative care might be the motivating for taking care of his or her teeth. Comprehension. Comprehension is nothing but the level of understanding. It refers to level of understanding, education and literacy of the people. Communicator should communicate in the local language that people understands. Never use the words that are strange and new to people. Teaching within the mental capacity is the most important thing when we are addressing the audience. Use of technical or medical terms should be avoided. For example, if you try to communicate with the people, eat food items which are non-carcinogenic. See, the non-carcinogenic is a medical term. So you have to use the simple terms, means avoid foodstuffs which are sweet and sticky to your teeth. Reinforcement. Reinforcement is nothing but repetition. So repeated input should be needed in health education. It is not possible for the people to learn new things in a short period of time. So repetition is a good idea or good example. It could be done at regular intervals and helps to understand new ideas or practices. This principle, it has been also called as a booster dose in health education. Learning by doing. Just by listening to new ideas or seeing new things, it might be difficult to implement them. If the learning process is accompanied by doing the new things, it is better instilled in the minds of the people. As the Chinese proverb, if I hear, I forget. If I see, I remember. If I do, I know. Known to unknown. It proceeds from the simple to more complicated and from known to unknown. The health education, whatever the message we try to convey, it should start from the existing knowledge of the people and then proceed to new knowledge. Existing knowledge can be used as a basic step upon which knowledge can be placed. So from known to unknown, we have to try to educate the public. The next principle is the setting an example. Health educator should follow what he preaches. He should set an example for other people to follow. The 10th principle is the good human relations. Health educator should have good personal qualities and should be able to maintain friendly relations with the people. He should be kind and sympathetic. The 11th principle is the feedback. The feedback is necessary to collect a feedback. Whenever going for the awareness program, it is necessary to collect a feedback to find out if any modifications are needed to make the program more effective. The last principle is the community leader. People learn most from whom they respect, and leaders can also be used to educate the people as they will have a good rapport and familiar with the people of their community. We can try to penetrate the community through the local leaders. For example, for rural people, through head of the village will be the community leaders, and for school children through headmaster or school teacher will be the community leaders. Content, what to be delivered in the health education when we are addressing the public. There are 8 main divisions. The first division is the human biology, nutrition and its effect, hygiene, family health and its care, disease prevention and control measures, mental health, prevention of accidents, and final utilization of the health services. These are the 8 main divisions that are the contents which has been included in the health education. For any health education, communication is more important. There are components. What are the components of health communication? There are main 5 components of health communication. Sender, the message who deliver will be the sender, and the message to whom we deliver, that is the audience will be the receiver, and what the content will be the message, through which media we deliver the message is the channel, and finally from receiver to sender, what comment they give is the feedback. So this is the various components of communication process. The next, the types of communication. There are 3 types of communication. The first one is the one-way and two-way communication. The next, verbal and non-verbal communication. Third one, formal and informal communication. One-way communication is also called as didactic communication. In this communication, the learning will be authoritative, knowledge will be imposed, and little audience participation will be involved, and no feedback it will be received. Whereas two-way communication, or also it is called as Socratic method, the learning will be active and this will likely influence the behavior. The next type of communication is the verbal and non-verbal communication. In this, words, as the name indicates, verbal communication is nothing but using words. Non-verbal indicates the bodily movements. The third type of communication is the formal and the informal communication. Formal communication, what we speak with the higher authorities, whereas the informal communication, what we speak with the friends. The next one is the barriers in health communication. There are 4 barriers in health communication. First one is the physiological barrier, which includes hearing and expression difficulty. Second one is the psychological barrier. Psychological barrier includes emotional disturbances, level of intelligence, language and comprehensive difficulty, that is level of understanding. The third important barrier is the environmental barrier. During a health education program, environmental barriers like noise, congestion and invisibility will be main important barrier in the health communication. Cultural barrier, literacy, level of knowledge of understanding, customs, belief, religion, attitude and economic and social class difference all comes under the cultural barrier. Next important topic in the health education, the aids used. There are three types of aids used. The first one is the auditory aid. Under that, megaphone, microphone, gramophone, tape recorder, radio and sound amplifiers will be the best example for the auditory aids. Next is the visual. Under visual aids, projected aids and non-projected aids will be included. Under projected aids, films, film strips, slides, overhead projectors, bioscopes and video cassettes will be included, whereas non-projected aids like blackboard, pictures, cartoons, photographs, charts, material, posters, IEC material like pamphlets, models and specimens will be included. The third one is the combination of both audio and video, that is audio visual aid, TV, video cassettes, cinemas, multimedia computers, folk dances, folk songs, puppet shows and dramas come under this audio-visual aids. The final one in the content of health education is methods of health education. There are three approaches for health education: the individual approach, the group approach and the mass approach. Whereas the individual approach include the personal contact, home visits and personal letters. Under group approach, the lectures, demonstration, discussion method, group discussion, panel discussion, a group of experts speaks about their ideas and views about a particular topic, symposium, workshop, conferences, seminars, role play come under the group approach. Whereas mass approach, it includes mass, it's a huge number of people, that includes the television, radio, newspaper, printed material like pamphlets, IEC material, all everything, direct mailing, posters, health museums and exhibitions, folk dances, internet and films comes under the mass approach. Moving to the next part of the lecture, that is health promotion. Health promotion is defined as the process of enabling people to increase control over and to improve their health. This definition was given during the first international conference which was held on health promotion in Ottawa, the capital city of Canada, on 21st November 1986. 5 priority areas have been included in the Ottawa Charter for health promotion. What are the 5 priority areas? The first area is the building health public policies. The second one, creating supportive environment. Third, develop personal skill. Fourth, strengthening community action. The final one is the reorienting the health services. Finally, I conclude this topic with the concept upstream downstream, which was given by McKinley in the year 1979. When we look at this picture, at downstream level, a person was standing near the shore. He was watching over the swiftly flowing river. When he was watching over, he was able to hear a voice in the flowing water. He was able to see a drowning person in the water. The person who was standing in the shore, he immediately jumped into the river and he saved the person. Immediately when he was giving artificial respirations to the drowning person, he was able to hear another cry. This helping man again jumps into the river and he saves the other person. Next, as this sequence goes on for a long time, and one point full energy got drained out. So the problem is that being the person who was helping, he failed to concentrate on the upstream level. That means he failed to watch that who was the reason behind this drowning persons in the river, that who was trying to push the other people into the water. So whenever we concentrate on any program or trying to educate the people, every time we have to concentrate on the upstream level, not in the downstream level. That will change, it will alter the behavior of both at the individual and the community level. Thank you for watching my class.